Hello and welcome back to Felony Miami. I'm your host, Joe Stone. In the studio today, we have three guests, all of them in the bail bond business. To my right, we have Ali Fernandez from Ali's Bail Bonds. She's been in the business for 20 years here in Miami-Dade County. Directly across from me, we have The Rabbit, or Rabbit, some other names in there that we can get to later, from City of Miami Bail Bonds, in the business 18 years.
Black Rabbit Bail Bonds. CityofMiamiBailBonds.com is the website.
There it is. Get the plug in. And Emilio Faroy to my left from Faroy Bail Bonds. Been in business for 35 years. And you have a slogan. What's your slogan?
If your freedom is a joy, call Faroy.
Boom.
Bam.
There it is. Okay, so I'm going to jump straight into this because this is such a fascinating part of the criminal justice system, and I don't think people know a lot about it. I know I don't know a lot about it, and I want to start out by first saying, are you guys also bounty hunters?
Legally, yes.
Bounty hunters. Now, you're kind of a hot bounty hunter. You're kind of a scary bounty hunter, and you look, Mr. Faroy, like a business bounty hunter. How does that work?
Well, we have powers of arrest over the people that we bond out. And we can put them back in jail, not just if they actually physically missed the court, but if they have lied to us in the applications, and then we try to confirm any of the addresses and stuff is incorrect, or they move without notifying us, that's a breach of the bond. And at that point, we'll try to negotiate if we can find them. If not, then we have to send somebody out to put them back in jail.
But you can arrest them?
Yes.
Like a citizen's arrest? Like
No.
a police? What is that? How does that work?
We have authorization through a Florida statute that we can arrest people, but only under
Our bond.
our jurisdiction and our bonds.
They
So
have to
like-
be out on our bond.
And our
Right.
bonds.
I cannot just go and arrest you because you committed a crime.
No,
Right, and you
yeah.
can't go and arrest one of his clients.
Unless he hires me to.
Unless she's registered with the same insurance company
Mm-hmm.
as me. Then yes, I can do her, I can do him. But if I'm not registered with his insurance company,
Uh-huh.
I cannot.
So it's all about the insurance. Now, this is an interesting segue here because the insurance, you guys are almost like insurers for the bail bond process, right?
Yeah, that's basically what we're insured for. A lot of people assume that if you skip bail, we have an insurance company that covers with the money we lost. No, it does not work that way. It's a different type of insurance.
Yeah, but you got, okay, let's just start from the beginning. I get arrested, I go to jail. The way that the law works is I'm supposed to go and have an arraignment. I'm supposed to stand in front of a judge. And then they have what's called a bond hearing.
It comes before the bond hearing. It would be the following day if you don't bond out that same night. And now, if it's a bondable charge, you can decide to bond out that night.
Okay, now let's just a bondable charge. So there are certain charges based on the way the laws have been written that people can be released on their own recognizance.
Without going to court.
Without going to court, they just go in and they get processed
they get a
and you
bond.
get to go home.
But you got to pay a bond. You can get RR without going to court. Got to go to court first.
get the
Get
RR.
RR.
And
But you
ROR
can
again
bail
means
out.
released on your own recognizance.
Correct.
That's
There
what-
is
they allow.
issuance of PTAs, which is promised to appear, but that's without an actual arrest, without you going to the facility.
Okay, so I'm arrested. I go to the holding tank, and then they take me from the holding tank where? What happens next?
To a holding cell.
To a holding cell.
And you have a choice. If you're bondable, you bond out.
Okay.
If you're not bondable, you have to see a judge and await.
Now, how do I find out if I'm bondable or not bondable? Who makes that decision? You guys?
No.
The charge, the
Yeah.
charge
The
itself,
charge.
and the
It's
amount.
already written up.
Sometimes it could be a very large bond. It could be a $500,000 bond, several charges, and not that many people can have the capacity to post a bond that large, so they could go to court the following day and try to get it reduced with a lawyer.
I see. So there's a schedule for the price to get free.
Yes. State of Florida sets
Each
those
charge has
schedules.
its
A bond amount.
And who made that bond amount up and when did they make it up? Do you guys know that information?
That schedule's been
It's
around
State of Florida.
since day one.
yeah,
It's a statute.
Yeah, it's
a schedule.
each statute, each charge has a number, Florida statute.
Right.
And by the Florida statutes, they set, I don't know when, because I do remember, since I've been in it so long ago, that the felony started at $1,000 a year. Then they jumped to $5,000.
Okay.
Like in Broward, it's still at $1,000. So different counties.
I think it
has-
changed in the 90s, the late 90s. I think it changed because I have a bond schedule that it's pretty old. The
Yeah.
papers are like yellow already.
Right.
And I got it like in 94, 95.
Yeah, because I, from my understanding and a little bit of research that we did, those bond schedules, which is like the amount of money that you need to get out for the crime, I think were written like 50 years ago. So I don't even know if there's any account for inflation or the value of. I don't.
We've
know.
never reviewed that actually.
You don't. It's not something you guys jump into. Okay, so now the judge says, all right, you need $1 million in bond. What do I do?
You need $100,000 to hire a bondsman.
Or you
So
sit in
it's
jail.
so it's 10%.
Or 15 if it's a federal case. 15 and federal FBI, DEA, any federal arrest, the premium by law is set by the insurance department. What do you call it? The Department of Financial
Services
now. The by statute we have to charge 15%
15%.
on federal cases. Immigration, I believe, is 15 as well, right? And then 10% on state cases. We're technically not supposed to even reduce that because it's set.
So you're basically putting down like your reputation and your deposit money
That's
Collateral.
our money, yes.
For a fee.
for that 10%. But now, do you keep that 10%? Is that yours to keep, or do you have
Not
to?
in its entirety.
Not in its entirety.
It gets dispersed between us, the general agent, and the insurance company.
Okay, so it stays just outside because you guys are not technically officers of the courts, or are you technically officers of the courts?
Faroy says we're not. I believe we are since we have power of arrest and
And I
No.
wouldn't dare say I am because I'll probably get beat up.
Yeah.
You're not bringing that information to the
No.
streets,
No.
right?
he pleads the fifth.
No, the reason I
you?
say because
No,
I had an
okay,
issue
good.
years ago in court, and we are not considered to be officers. of
no,
the
we
not.
can't
court.
I got
go. We
approached
cannot
by
go
that
in
in
there
Broward
and
County.
pretend to be attorneys. But we
Right.
could represent as a in reference to our industry.
Right.
We are allowed to go in there and represent ourselves.
Right. Okay.
But we cannot represent.
You know, they won't
pretend to be
take
an attorney.
like they'll take an attorney's check. They'll take their word, like like it's the Bible, but not a bail bondsman's. They don't have to because I'm saying it because of my own experience years ago that I was told that we are not considered legally officers of the court.
Yes, legally. Because
We're
I
not.
had,
Are you legally authorized to break and enter without a warrant if it's one of your people that you're going after?
yes.
Yes,
If-
definitely,
if-
100%.
it all
Really?
depends
Our
on
fugitive, yes.
yes, if it's our fugitive,
If it's your fugitive.
if we have that address is on the record of the clerk, we can do anything with that address.
You can kick the door down, bust in.
With that address.
Have any
Yes.
of the
On
three of
only
you
that
ever
address.
busted down the door and said, "Freeze, motherfucker"?
No.
I've never had to, thank God.
Okay.
I don't get down like that. That's
Okay.
dangerous. We're not the police.
Right.
We have to act a little bit different.
So you, in your duties of bounty hunting, just such a like cool thing to say, but it's really more like paperwork and kind of like the guy's over at that address, and then you send in the cavalry, or
I guess it was an adrenaline at the beginning, but after so many years in the business, we just rather hire out and have, specific agents that specialize only in bounty
so.
hunting.
Wait, you were chasing down people and
At one point,
throwing the
yes.
cuffs on them.
Yes.
Tell me.
The females
one
are
point I
tougher than
was.
the males.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
always.
are.
Yeah,
And
that's for
technically,
sure,
when they
for
go
sure.
to
I'ma
arrest a
tell you that
female,
right now.
they're supposed to have a female present just to cover their grounds. So
Okay.
there's no type of sexual harassment or anything like that. So yeah, at one time it was an adrenaline thing for me.
Tell me one of
Many
your
blue
tell me
moons
one of your
ago.
stories of one of your harrowing stories.
Okay, I had one that it was not my pickup, which is the same as my fugitive. It wasn't my fugitive. I just went along because she was a female, and she tried to kick me. I was, being helpful. I'm like, look, let me empty your pockets out. Make sure you don't have anything that's gonna get you another charge while you get arrested. And she tried to kick me, so we had to use a little bit of, roughness.
A little force.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I had to put her in the back seat and
Now-
wild goose chase all the way to the jail.
Were you with police or just with
No,
one of
just
your?
with the fugitive recovery team.
And what do you just flash like you don't? Do you have a badge or something? Yeah.
We have badges,
Okay.
and actually we carry identification around, state license.
Right. Very cool. Now the three of you all work out of Dade County, in the Dade County jails. Are you competition for each other?
Technically, yes.
Technically, yes, of course.
Yeah. But do you work together?
Of course.
Ah.
We have to.
Why?
Because her forfeiture is mine, his is mine, and mine's is theirs. Because if we let one bail bond company fail, then what does that say about the next one?
Right.
Most
Because
of us have each other's back. Like if
We
I get
have
a
each
call
other's back.
and I check and I see it, the person had misquoted on somebody before that, that we communicate with and have a good reputation with, we'll call them up and be like, hey, listen, this person just got arrested, and we'll go from there. There's a few bondsmen in the industry that do not cooperate with the old school.
really,
Yeah,
these
you
are the
have-
new guys on the block.
You have the new guys on the block that came in, I want to say 2004, maybe 2005,
I said higher than that.
and they're very uncooperative.
Yeah.
Really?
I have had other agencies call me like, hey, Rabbit, you bailed out somebody who was a total asshole to me.
Oh,
Be careful of this guy, please.
okay.
And I'm like, okay. And guess what? 2 weeks later, I'll put him back in jail. Why? Because he miscaught.
So when
He
they-
warned me weeks before it even happened.
Right. So you guys keep
Free bird
you guys
bail
watch
bonds.
each other's backs like
Yes.
that. Hey, you know what? Watch
Free
out, bail
bird
on this
bail
guy.
bonds
So
did
what
that.
happens if word gets out on somebody that's a risk and continually bails out? I mean bails out on bail, just doesn't show up. Do you guys just say nope, not interested?
Some of us will.
It shows up on the record because when we're gonna bond somebody out, technically, I mean, when you've been in the business long enough, like the three of us have, and we've been burned, like I'm sure we've all been burnt.
Right.
You learn to be more cautious and you do more checks, and then usually we properly check. We see if they have missed court before, so we can have the option of asking for full collateral. Like if the guy books and we can't find him, we can pay the bond with the collateral.
Okay.
Or if we don't feel secure, we just won't do the bond.
When you say full collateral, would you give me an example? Is
Okay,
that
if the
just-
bond is $10,000, we either have something that we can liquidate quickly because we have 60 days, right, by law,
60 days.
to either pick him up, arrest him again, or pay the bond. Otherwise, it goes into judgment.
Oh, you have to pay the balance of the bond. to
No,
this-
the whole bond,
The whole thing.
the
What
whole
do you mean
10 grand or
balance?
whatever the
You
liability.
have to pay the
thing.
whole amount.
Correct.
You guys are responsible.
Yes.
Okay.
It's our money.
Oh wow! So if it's $1 million bond,
Yeah,
you
like
guys-
mine. Yeah, it was a $1 million bond. The premium was $150,000 because it was
Right.
a
Federal.
it was a federal bond.
right?
And luckily, we caught, Rolando, our bounty hunter, caught the guy up in Spain and brought him back.
Oh man!
Otherwise, he would have had to pay $1 million.
$1 million.
You got to
The
come up with $1 million.
difference.
Now, here's my question: how do you guys get in with the court system to say, "Don't worry, I got the $1 million. I can cover this"?
Because
Do
we're
you
backed
have
by
it?
the insurance company. The
The
insurance
insurance,
company has it.
okay, we each, like I write for like 4 or 5 different insurance companies. Okay, the insurance companies that guarantee us to the state or the federal government, they're the ones who have the real bucks. Now, they have, because every time we write a bond, a percentage of each dollar goes into a BUF, which is a build-up fund. So we have to have either property or money with them.
Okay.
And then they're the ones who guarantee us to the federal government or the state. So if within a certain time we can't pay the bond because the guy skipped and we didn't arrest him in time, then the insurance company has to pay it to the government or the state.
Okay.
So that's why they make a percentage of our monies.
And if this happens more than how many times does the insurance company say, you know what, you guys are not worth doing the business with?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
outta
They
here."
never lose.
They never lose.
They never lose because even if the insurance company pays the bond for us because we couldn't financially afford it at the moment,
Right.
we're going to pay for it weekly, monthly until we pay them back whatever money they lost.
Oh, so you're actually on the hook for the full amount.
It's our
They'll just
money.
pay it out, but then they're going to bill you for the balance?
Yes.
Correct. They're either going to increase the percentage you pay them for each bond that
So
you write.
raise your premium, in
or-
other words?
Correct. They'll either
Okay.
increase that or they'll put you on a payment plan, but they will collect their money.
Or they'll try
they'll
to
cut you
foreclose on
off.
your house too. Because you have to have property with them as well.
That's why I rent.
So that's part of the collateral.
Our collateral with the insurance company. Okay, the defendant puts collateral up with us.
Right.
We put up collateral with the insurance company to guarantee their money in case there's a loss incurred from our misdeeds or
It's
whatever.
a chain reaction, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so going back to this whole history on the bail bonds when they started, like you started 35 years ago,
Correct.
and what's changed in the business since you started?
Well, primarily what has changed is the laws have become a lot more strict. Back then,
For bail bondsmen or just
No,
the laws in general?
No. The laws in general, penalty wise, to the perpetrators, alleged perpetrators. In other words, like I was telling you guys at the beginning of the show, I knew people that were caught with 20, 30 tons of marijuana on a boat, and they did maybe 12 months in a federal, facility. Cocaine trafficking, every drug that's come out back then used to be Quaaludes, stuff like that. The new
Going way
drug
back.
trade. Now they got 20 different drugs.
My man's going way back. Allie's
So-
looking with Quaalude. What's a Quaalude?
I do know what it is, but
Oh, Lord.
The lemon 714s
Oh,
and all
my
that
gosh.
stuff.
These details. Good
So
man.
all that's
right,
yeah,
there
no,
you
all
go.
that stuff
Fist
is
bump.
all that stuff has changed, and then the penalties. Back then, I mean, right now they'll give you in federal court on like insurance fraud cases or healthcare fraud. A good friend of mine just got sentenced to was it like 80 or 100 months in jail with some mortgage fraud he did because he took it to trial on a that was unheard of back then.
Right.
So you see the penitentiaries throughout the country are getting over.
Well, yeah, no, we're definitely incarcerating too many people. That's part of the reason that we're doing this show is to talk about how broken the system is. So I'm going to segue with that. What parts of your industry do you see that are broken? Do you see corruption? Do you see corruption with judges? Do you see corruption with other bail bondsmen? Where do you see it? Tell me. I heard,
you see
There's
corruption
corruption
everywhere. You see corruption
everywhere.
at the jail. You see corruption between correctional officers. You see corruption. I can't say attorneys, but there's corruption in every industry, not just our industry.
but this is the industry we're talking about.
Okay, so from my experience, the corruption that I have experienced is basically going to the jail, writing a bond, and finding out that another company has wrote it without no money and no paperwork.
Is that corruption or is that
That's called
miscommunication?
hustling.
Yeah, but they're recently, I
What's-
forget their names. There was 3 bondsmen arrested.
Absolutely.
Was it one guy and 2 girls?
Yes, there
It
was.
was in the paper. 2. They had some kind of an inside track. I don't know if it was correction people. Was it?
It was the houseman. It was everybody who got arrested. They had a houseman inside.
There's
that
still
approached
people that
them.
have housemen
They
right
still
now
have
that
housemen.
they're not
Okay,
doing
what is
anything
a
about.
houseman?
Somebody who's doing time in jail that has special privileges in that area of the intake.
They're doing time in there, but they give them privileges because they're not at risk of escape or anything like that. So they make you take a shower. They'll do this. They're like maids inside
Like
the jail.
assistants.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
They're the ones running the floor.
there you go.
gotcha.
Exactly.
Like trustees.
Exactly.
It's another word for
So
houseman.
they
Okay.
indicted a trustee for being on board with a couple bail
They did not
bondsmen.
indict him.
They did?
FYI,
I thought-
no.
No?
They released him. He's currently a fugitive.
They released on
He
that.
couldn't get a bail bond?
He got out on probation.
Wait a minute.
Oh wow.
and
Nobody
he's
wanted
currently
to
a
know.
fugitive. But
So what was the hustle? What was this hustle? Do you guys know how they scam the system?
allegedly, the trustee will say to John Doe, "Hey, I have a bondsman for you. She's my bondsman, or he's my bondsman. Call him up. They'll get you out on a payment plan."
Right.
The person will call and get you on a payment plan. So the court system says that this is illegal because they were using the trustee as a middleman.
Well, it's almost like a promotion guy.
It's like a promotion guy, which
Yeah.
technically, if you are advertising at the jail or you have, a convicted felon working for you, it is illegal.
Yeah, but
you
how
can't-
else do people find
But-
out who to call?
Exactly. But where we're going down to is it would have made it really illegal if they would have been able to get proof that this trustee was getting paid for the referral.
And was he getting paid for the referral?
There is no proof.
They didn't figure it out.
Or they might have paid it to a family member or somebody else.
There's
Before
no
they
proof
would
of
put
that.
money in the commissary when they used to buy cigarettes. I don't think they can smoke in there anymore, no?
No.
I don't know.
You can't smoke inside the Dade County Jail anymore.
But I have a bigger back in the in the 80s, there was bondsmen who had people inside the jail. Let's say corrections people. They would send them
They
a
still
message.
have correction
right,
people
right,
now.
no. But this was. You probably know who I'm talking about. So what happened was they would signal to a bonding company, "Hey, get this guy out. Don't ask questions." It would be a $50,000, it could be $100,000 bond.
Was this usually like for drug crimes or something?
Any
Coke-
kind of
cocaine
crime,
stuff?
any
Kind of
kind. They
crime.
would
Any
take
kind.
they would take him out of jail.
Yeah.
They would sit him either in a bondsman's office or in a hotel or motel, and they would literally literally be kidnapped in the sense of they would hold him there. They would give him a phone. Okay, start calling your mom, your dad, your neighbor.
And this was bail
Oh, they
bail
did that.
bondsmen that,
Yeah.
were
Yeah,
doing
company
this.
was
They
doing
did.
it.
The
The
reason
company
I
was
found
doing
out.
it.
The reason I found out when the people couldn't come in with a collateral or the premium
Right.
within a certain amount of time, the bondsman says, "Well, hell, what the hell? It's $100,000 bond. I'm not going to take it." So they put him back in jail, and they'll charge him a fee. They'll, let's say the premium was 10 grand. He only came up with 1,000.
Right.
So they'll put him back in jail, charge him as a fee. And the reason I found that, because a lot of my clients were victims. After they were put back in jail, they would call me and say, "Hey, Emilio," or the parents or somebody would call me. I would get them out, and I would hear the whole war story of what happened. That's how I found out that was happening. Because, see, what happens is if you don't legitimately, as a bail bondsman, see, we have to do our due diligence. We have to make sure that there's collateral, that there's family, that this guy's going to go to all his court appearances.
Right.
So we know already if we're taking a risk, it's an educated, calculated risk. Now, these people are betting 100 grand, $500,000, 300 grand, that they're going to be able to do that after the
And be
guy's
able to
released.
collect.
So if they don't secure that loan and that guy skips, they're out that money. So they put him back in jail, which is, I mean, of course it's illegal.
And you guys kind of in a win-win almost either way, because if they skip, the insurance company is going to pay it.
No, we're
We're
never in a
still liable.
win-win.
You're
because
never
we're
in a
still
win-win.
liable.
We always.
And if you become a fugitive, and I have to have a fugitive recovery team go out there and pick you
gotta
up,
pay.
I
You got
have
to
to
pay
pay.
them.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll be losing money. You'll be negative if that was to happen. As
Now-
long as people are going to jail, you're always going to be making money. When they miss,
And there's a lot
That's
of
when
people
the
going to
expenses come
jail,
in.
so you guys are going to be making money. So is that good or bad? If you guys are so close to this system, you see it every day. Is it good or bad what's happening? What is Dade County like? What is Miami-Dade like compared to the rest of, say, the state of Florida or even the rest of the United
I'll
States?
tell you that the arrest amount daily has decreased a lot in Dade County.
It has.
A lot.
Why is that?
I'm assuming the cops are underpaid. They don't want to be wasting 8 hours at the jail processing someone, because when you get to the facility, it takes an officer at least 4 to 5 hours before he leaves that facility once he gets there to bring that person into custody. A lot of officers don't want to sit there 4 or 5 hours.
I've heard stories that officers do want to do that towards the end of their shift because then they get extra money, they get bonus time, they get overtime, and we have to pay that.
There's a shortage too, because I read a few months ago here in city Miami. There's been a shortage of police officers, but there's no funding for them. They need more police officers and better trained police officers, but there's no money so who's going to pay that? That's what's happening with pretrial services right now.
Yeah.
What are pretrial services?
It's a program where if you don't bond out that night, you'll go to a bond hearing the following day, and most people will get released for free, monitored by a few people, which is paid by the government, right? The county.
I heard now
fund
they're
it.
charging a fee weekly to the
Yeah,
person
but-
depending on their
Yeah, but that's
economical
$1 a
status.
day.
So what, they
That
have to
that's for
check
house
in with
arrest.
somebody?
House arrest.
Yes, and
Yeah,
they have
that's
to
for
check
house
in.
arrest.
They have to check in daily?
Yeah, but-
Say, here I am.
Yeah, but you know who has to go pick those people up when they miss court? They have to put that on the police. And I was a pretrial
So that's another
person.
job for the police department.
Exactly, because
Right.
the pretrial people don't go out and chase these people down.
Right.
Make sure there's collateral or that there's family. We got to do that.
Thank you.
So back to the arrests are down.
All right.
What is happening in the actual court system with people being arrested, tried, and bailed out? How is that functioning in your guys' eyes?
I think as best it can be under the circumstances that we're in right now. There is no perfect system. There's no fix it. There's no pill you can take and you're going to fix.
Well, no, I know there's no pill, but there's definitely there are
it's-
systems that work better than others, and there are inequities. And I'm curious, you guys must see some of these inequities up close. I mean, we've had stories on this program about murderers walking out of jail after serving 12 years and somebody dealing 2 ounces of cocaine and spending the rest of their life in prison. Clearly, there are inequities.
100%.
So, and you guys are in the middle of all this, watching it happen. I mean, do you ever see that happen where somebody dealing cocaine maybe gets a $1 million bond, and a killer gets, or a wife beater, or somebody, domestic violence gets a $10,000. I mean, how is that determined? Because I know there's a schedule that's set up, but isn't there some discretion also?
There is a schedule set up. When you get arrested, the bond is X amount, but depending on your criminal history, when you see the judge the next day, they can put it at whatever they want. They can reduce it to $1. They can put it up to $500,000.
Or release you for free.
It's up to the judge's discretion from that point.
Yeah. So definitely, it's that friend of mine I was just talking to you about got sentenced to like 12, 15 years for some kind of a mortgage fraud, and in a federal case. And then you see people like you're saying, for aggravated crimes and domestic violence, where you cut up the wife, or you do stuff like, my God,
Horrible stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
know,
And
I
shoot
think it all
somebody.
depends on
10 years
representation
later.
too.
What I noticed
Yeah.
about this system of bail, when I first joined bail bonds, I used to notice when we used to go to bond hearing when it was on the 5th floor, it was standing room only. Family members, everybody's worrying about their loved ones. Go today and see how many people in bond hearing.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
actually
but
sat in on the bond
technology-
hearings, and it's all on video, and there's a handful of people in the
Handful. I'm talking
yeah.
about when it was on the 5th floor.
Yeah.
I'm talking about they can attest to this.
Yeah.
Standing room only. We had bail
Yeah.
bondsmen.
Lawyers,
It used to be
family.
when I started. It was in the
Get off
second
the
floor.
elevator.
It was in the second floor. When it was meek rubbing. I remember the judge, an old guy, a bald with a real red faced Southern guy, and that was back in I don't want to say how long because I don't want to
Yeah,
give
but
away my age.
technology has
Second floor
taken
was traffic, and the 5th floor was felony.
Felonies, correct.
And they had 2 courts.
So-
So it was standing room only, and the family was more concerned about everybody.
Yeah, but technology has changed a lot of that. Because when I first became a bondsman, there was no internet.
Yeah,
No,
that's true.
The cell phone was like $2 per minute.
I had a Nokia.
Right.
No, there
I
weren't.
had a pager.
No, there was no cell phones when
No,
I
I
was.
had an
yeah.
iPhone, as a matter of fact, before they moved the bond hearing off the 5th floor. I had an iPhone.
To get information, you had to call the jail
Yes,
for
you did.
hours. So family, instead of calling, would show up to
They
the
would just
courthouse.
go down
You
there.
couldn't
Sure,
go
of course,
online.
and
You couldn't go
technology
online.
definitely has changed a lot of it.
Exactly.
So it seems to me also that if you have money, you're going home. If you got no money, you're going back. And
Not necessarily. There's programs that release certain offenders without
sure.
having to pay bond. They just have to qualify for it. They have to be under
What program is that?
A
'Cause
pretrial release,
Pretrial
TAP.
service. Yeah.
TAP. Tell us about TAP. What does that stand for?
I don't remember, but I know it's a program to where they somehow qualify you if you're a good risk. How I don't know the
They look at your
TAP
history.
does take, I think it's 48 to 72 hours to release people, but if the judge gives it to you and you qualify, they'll release you, without you having to pay a dime, just following their instructions, just like pretrial.
Okay.
So there is programs that service low-income families.
Because I've
in order to
heard
bond out.
in New York they're talking about eliminating bail.
Oh, they're trying to eliminate
New
it here
Jersey,
as
all
well.
over the
They
place.
are.
They
All
already
over.
eliminated in Jersey and Maryland.
They did. And this is only for certain types of crimes though, like nonviolent
No,
drug
completely.
offenses, or
They're eliminated bail
completely?
bondsmen. Not the bail system. They eliminated bail bondsmen. They are able to post bail directly to the courthouses.
So they're cutting your jobs out.
They're cutting us
Yeah.
out.
And who do you guys have representing you? Is there a
we
lobby for bail bond?
Yeah,
You do.
we have a lobbyist that actually went up recently and got us extended, for another year. We don't have to worry about it.
And
But
they,
come-
and they publish because I get through email
Yeah.
all these people that are getting released on those programs, like rapists, assault people who try to
They're
kill
actually
people.
fugitives right now.
And they're
Nobody's
fugitives.
looking for them.
Nobody.
Nobody looks for them.
I don't understand that. What do you mean? Why would nobody be looking for them?
I mean, they'll issue a warrant. Now, if one day the guy gets stopped for a traffic ticket and he has a warrant, they'll arrest him. But
Oh,
there's
so
nobody
catch as catch
enforcing
can.
the skip.
Okay.
Because there's nobody that has anything to lose like we do.
Yeah, but I mean, I think us as a community, the people are supposed to be the justice system. We the people are losing.
The problem
then, right?
you-
'Cause
you hit-
doesn't our taxpayer
you hit
dollars-
the nail on the head is because the people are not informed of what's happening. Remember Channel 7
Totally.
or they used to do. Remember the revolving door program? I don't know,
Carmen.
Channel 7 and 10, where it was just they come in and they get released by pretrial with no monitoring, with nobody. If nobody has anything to lose, who's gonna make sure that those people come back
Yeah, but
to court?
I understand that, but it seems that I mean the way that the laws have been written, it's supposed to be mostly so people can get out on their own, and I guess that's why they have things like TAP and pretrial and ROR, because legislatively, I think the concept is supposed to be like, okay, you did something wrong, but we don't want to warehouse 10,000 people. You know, you're supposed to have your day in court.
Right.
And so this whole bail bondsman thing that started, I don't know when it started.
This goes from Hammurabi back in the Frank Pledge in the early American colony, where they would take, like, somebody gets charged with a crime.
Yeah.
They'll call it Frank Pledge. It's what his neighbors would go to the court and say, yeah, Your Honor, we make sure that this guy, so it's a pledge that you give in a frank way, I guess, to the court.
Okay.
And that would guarantee, but that was in the colonies and stuff like that.
Okay.
But look at all the types of crimes, the aggravating, the assaults and the stuff. Who monitors and who guarantees it? So in theory, yes, everybody should have a day in court. Everything should be peace and love. But unfortunately, it isn't.
Well, no, there's a lot of crime out there. There's no question about that. And we repeat that on this program because it's not that we're saying, oh, everybody should get a fair shake. There's crime out there. Make no mistake. If you don't believe it, go down to the courthouse and hang around for a couple of hours.
But a lot of people don't have no money.
There was something.
Thank you.
The major issue.
Right.
But
Now,
it's not because they want to do crime. It's because they have to do it to feed their family and also to survive.
or to be a part of a social group to be
Yeah.
accepted. I
Right.
get all that.
Exactly.
But once they get into the system, once they're in that system and you guys jump in and you say, okay, we're going to help you get out, because it almost seems like there's a contract between the bail bondsman and the jails, because we were having this conversation before the program started, Allie and I, about how crowded it is and how maybe the DA's office and the prosecutor's office, maybe they don't have the time to deal with a lot of these, right?
They don't. A lot of the
That's why they need
prosecutors
us.
now have over 50 cases.
That's why they need
And that's a
And
lot
they
of cases.
can't, yeah, it's a lot of cases for one prosecutor.
And they need you guys because they can't keep everybody in jail.
Correct.
Correct.
When they get rid of the bail bondsman, they will find out the hard way.
What are they going to find out?
They're going to find out that they don't have enough room for everybody.
Are they going to get rid of the bail bondsman and not bail people out, or allow them to bail out, or are they going to get rid of?
I think they're probably going to take over the whole thing.
Yeah, I think what they want to try to do
They
is
want the
collect
money.
the 10% themselves,
The state
the
Yes.
state.
or the county?
Yeah, whichever.
Is it-
Whichever.
Or the federal government, which
Because-
they do it too.
Right, because it seems to me, and things that we've learned here on this program, that all of these circuit courts have different rules and mechanisms by the way they function. So you guys work in which circuit?
And whichever one the person gets arrested for.
So how many circuits do we have here? Do we know?
I have no idea.
The whole state of Florida, and each county is a circuit.
It is.
Whichever one
Yeah.
deal with
Each
money.
county has their own circuit
And bail.
number.
And you can do bail in any of those
Can't-
circuits.
Anywhere in
Any of the
in most
67
states, I think
counties.
there's 3 or 4 states that don't have. It's like in Illinois, Chicago has no bail
No
bonds.
bail.
They have where
Indianapolis,
you
no
put
bail.
percentages directly with the jail, and then I think it was 10%. Then if they skip, you got to put 20%, or so it's a revolving door. It's a money
it builds
thing.
up.
It's a money thing.
So if you
definitely a money
if you
thing.
analyze
Definitely.
it, that what they're saying, okay, we want the money. Hell with the guy. Let him not come. Let him pay us. So with us being us liable for their not showing up in court, we got to go out and find them, or we can lose our house. We can lose our business.
Sure. You can lose your house and your business.
Yeah, exactly.
And these insurance companies that insure you guys, are there any coalitions of bail bondsmen that own these insurance companies together, or do you guys ever consider investing in your own insurance companies? Is there a
To
group
have-
like that?
You got to
Trillions of
have
It's a different
dollars
license.
to
trillions
have,
of dollars, man,
Yeah.
to open
To
up
have
your
an
own
insurance
insurance company.
You got to have a certain percentage. Like if you write 20 million a year, you got to have like 100 million, or I don't know how.
So it seems to me that there is a major corporate interest that benefits from these bail bonds.
Severely.
Sure.
Major corporate interest.
Major.
That's a little disturbing.
Well, Not in how I think you're putting it. There's no
As far as insurance,
there's no mega bucks in this business, especially nowadays. It's not like it's any insurance company that underwrites bail bond. They also do general lines. They do
I'm sure
car,
they have
do
to,
home.
right, yeah.
This is a
To balance
very
the
small
portfolio.
percentage of the insurance business of how they're. So it's like a hindrance. It's not like State Farm. All these big companies don't have bail bonds, or they don't have this type of surety bonds.
Right. And in Europe and in Asia, there is no money in the bail bonds process.
Not even in South America. I don't think this.
I don't
the
think
on-
they have bonds.
I think the only because I
No?
tried to do it. I was going to do it once in Venezuela, like 30 years ago.
I just
to
focus in
establish.
Florida. I don't really do anything outside of Florida. It's too much
Neither
of a
do I.
headache. Each
No, I
state
do.
has their own laws.
I'm not going to Boston and gunslinging. I know somebody from Miami that had a fugitive run to Boston,
Yeah.
and he's a good friend of mine, Bell Bondsman.
Remember the
He went
bondsman
up there.
that got killed here, Dongo or something?
Dongo,
Yeah,
but he got
Dongo.
killed here in Miami.
Yeah, in
Dongo got
Miami.
killed in Miami.
He-
I was
he-
supposed to
he
be
went-
with him that day.
He went to do a
Apprehension.
apprehension.
Yeah.
And I think the guy was like driving out of the house or just gotten there, and he was there, and I think the wife was there
He
with the
opened
guy
the guy's door, and,
And
the
the
guy
guy-
had a gun here.
and
picked
shot
it
him
up
with
and shot him in the
and killed him
chest.
right there on the
No, he
spot.
had his daughter in his lap.
One of your bail. One
had
of
his-
the- really?
Yeah,
One
bail
of
bonds.
He had his
yeah.
daughter in
That
his
was like
lap.
what 10 years ago.
The guy who
Pretty much.
shot
His
the
son, I think,
bondman,
became a
shot
cop.
him.
So there's violence also involved. In
Yeah,
your-
of
in your
course.
guys'
And
business.
apprehensions, of
course.
course. I mean, nobody.
wants to go
If
to
they
jail?
skip bail, they don't want to go back to jail.
Right.
Look at it this
Yeah.
way: when we go hunt somebody down, he's already been bailed out. He's already been through the system. So
Right.
when he sees a bail bond, he says, "Shit, that's it. I'm screwed."
Bad news.
And it's you
Yeah.
putting them against those. So it's a different. He knows he's gonna bond out when the cop is coming to initially arrest you, but not, but not when a bondsman is looking for you.
The producers just sent me a note here that the United States and the Philippines are the only countries that have a monetary bail system.
That's interesting.
It's
That's very
and then in
interesting.
Washington, and then in Washington D.C., they have no money in their bail system, and they have an 88% rate of people showing up for their court dates.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Depends what they're going to jail for,
Yeah.
what they got arrested for, what they're being faced with.
And Washington D.C.
Each
is a
situation
little.
is different, so you can't take those numbers
I
and
agree.
apply it to
I agree.
Miami.
Yeah.
You cannot.
And Miami
It
is a
don't work
bubble
that
anyway.
way.
Miami's-
Miami, yeah.
Yeah.
You
I mean, we
cannot.
have people here
It's like
that
you
miss
can't
court
put dog to
accidentally
bounty hunter
because
in
they
this
figured if
environment.
they change their address on their license, changes it automatically on all their ticket citations. And they're like, "Oh, I never got a court date." No, duh. It's
Yeah.
going to the address you provided when you
Right.
got that ticket. It's not going to change it if you didn't make the effort to change it.
So there can be accidental situations.
Correct. Yes.
And when that happens, just for example, you guys reach out to those people and say, "Hey, what's up?"
I have
I
a big percentage of my cases that people. One day I'm sitting in my office and I'll get 3, 4, 5 bonded streeters from the court. Oh my God! Then I look them up.
What are they called?
Streeters.
Streeters.
Estreatures, like creatures.
Uh-huh.
Streeters.
A
This is when
streeters.
the bond is streeted. It means it's revoked by the
Or forfeiture.
Forfeited by
Forfeited,
the court.
streeted.
A
Officially,
streeter
we-
and forfeit is the same
it's a
terminology,
different
Okay.
name for
wording.
the same thing.
Okay.
So nowadays, I gotta say, 99.9% of them, I am able to fix with the people with their lawyers. The guy got drunk the night before, or he never received a court appearance. Neither did we. How many of those do you get? They don't even get court appearance. So we're able to fix it with the courts and not having to rearrest them. They go in with a judge,
Yeah,
and
that's
we'll
another
go.
issue that we're having because of the budget cuts in the courthouse. We're not getting our court dates on time. We're not
Yeah.
getting our forfeitures immediately.
Right.
The clients are not getting this, when they call in, they're not getting the information they need because of a budget cut. If you call the 305-275-1155
Oh my God, no.
number, it'll tell you straight up, we only answer the phone from 9 to 12 because of budget cuts.
Yeah, they can't.
Because of budget cuts.
And they don't answer from 9 to 12.
Yeah, so there's a problem right there. We want to have safety and security, and we want to.
and we don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, but we don't. That's happening more and more in this country. For some reason, people think that they can have all these things and not pay for them. I don't know what's up with that, but you look at other countries, and they function. Yes, they have higher taxes, but they function a little more smoothly. And for some reason, in this country, in the United States of America, there has been some kind of a paradigm shift in understanding that if you want to have things, that they cost money.
But then you have the bureaucracy that gets in the way, and then you have politicians that have to come up with an issue. I remember a politician, I don't want to say his name, back in the 80s wanted to abolish
Say his
bail.
name.
What's his name? No, I don't want to say his name. Anyways,
He doesn't remember his name.
No, they want to
Don't worry.
they want to abolish bail because they need what is it?
Something to motivate people.
No,
something to run
vote
on.
for them.
Right.
I'm gonna make America great again.
Right.
I wanna make whatever bail great again. So
Right.
let's screw the bondsmen. Let's us make the money.
Right.
We don't have the cops to enforce it. We don't have the judicial system to deal with it.
Right.
But what the hell? So who suffers? The victims.
Yeah, the victims and the rest of the community.
The bail bond industry suffers.
And
but
how,
you can't look at back in when I started. Yes, the bondsmen were all big, fat with the gold teeth, and that was the prototype when I became a bail bondsman. But not anymore.
clearly, I'm looking at Allie here,
Well, I became a
not
bail bondsman.
not a prototypical
No,
bail
at all, at
bondsman.
all.
No, I do not look like Dog
Until she got a gun in her
Totally
hand.
not.
or Beth.
but that's the problem. See, with Dog the Bounty Hunter, God bless his soul, they put a different light. So when somebody comes to my office to put a bun, you like Dog, right? And they because that's what they see.
Yes, of course.
They see
No,
Dog the
it's-
Bounty
it's
Hunter, so
insanity.
they
They don't know he
associate.
carry a paintball gun.
Yeah.
They don't know that.
That's what he carries? His paintball gun?
In Hawaii, ain't no guns in Hawaii.
Oh, there you go.
No, but you know how he became famous, right? There was some heir to some major fortune in the United States that I think raped some woman, right? And they posted $1 million bond. The family posted the cash, and the guy skips.
Yeah.
And somehow he finds out that the guy was in Mexico. Was it?
I don't
Yeah,
know
it was in
history.
Mexico, and he brings him back, and he had nothing to do with the case, and that made him famous. And then eventually, Mexico wanted to extradite him and take him back to face charges for
Kidnapping.
Do you have extradition privileges in your bail? Because
It
you
all
mentioned
depends.
somebody coming back from Spain or
I
something.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it's
All depends.
federal.
It's
federal
federal.
law.
If it's
Only.
federal, we can do what we. Hey,
You can go anywhere?
Let me get some federal authority.
But we
Okay.
we usually like a Mike the $1 million bond. We had the DEA work in the State Department. They were working because they wanted to bring so they gave us pretty
Right.
much carte blanche to do stuff.
What's your worst fugitive capture?
Worse
Really?
in what sense?
Like, what was the worst, like, criminal guy that you had to go after and catch?
Well, this one, the one I spoke to you about, that was in fugitive. I didn't physically do Rolando, which is pretty well known in the industry. He was the one who caught him, who got the fake. He actually rented from somebody a garbage truck, and got the garbage, and we traced him to Spain, and he almost killed a couple of police officers over there. Eventually, we caught him and extradited him back, and he got sentenced to 33 years, I believe. And he was like 33 back then. And this co-defendant already got out because he pled.
Right. Well, yeah, that happens a lot too. Rabbit, tell me your worst, most difficult.
It was a traffic violation. But guess what?
Tell me.
Everybody else, the big bonds that forfeited,
Yeah.
I never caught those guys. They ran either Panama or Jamaica or something. Like last year, I lost like maybe $60,000 with Broward County.
Tough guy.
And one of my defendants actually was deported before. And Broward County let me bail him out. And he gave me an ankle monitor.
And he
So
took
wait.
the ankle monitor off.
As soon as I bailed him out of jail, he didn't even check in. He didn't even go.
Cut that thing
Threw it on the
off.
side of the road and dipped. And that wasn't even his real name. The feds called me maybe 3 weeks later and told me, that's not his real name. His real name isn't Michael Doheny. It's Jason Chung
Oh, man.
Jr.
And he's gone.
Can't find him.
Traffic violation.
No.
No.
Hit and run, DUI
Oh.
with ankle monitor.
And he was deported.
And he was deported before. In Broward County.
And they gave him a bond.
They gave him a bond. And they called me and said I messed up on the power. I had to come back and fix it before they released him.
Wow.
They set me up real good.
Wow.
How often does that
And that's
happen?
when you come in after deportation.
That was last
It's
year.
a federal case. It's a 5-year minimum mandatory. When they deport you, if you come back, the feds arrest you, and it's 5 years automatically. So how did that?
I even hired bounty hunters to go to Boston looking for him. Go to Philly looking for Michael Doheny.
But that wasn't his
And
name.
the feds called me and told me I was wasting my time. Because that
Really?
ain't his name.
Yeah, and in Broward,
Michael
you can't
Doheny
get off.
had his ID infiltrated by Jason Chung.
And who even knows if that's his real name?
No, that's his real name.
Oh, okay.
Jason Chung Jr. From Fort Lauderdale.
What's your worst?
I believe the gentleman was about 71 years old on an ankle monitor.
All right.
A federal investigator wanted to question him in reference to a check he cashed from a clinic. And he decided to cut off his monitor and not get questioned, which had nothing to do with him. It was just, he was being questioned about the check. He wasn't getting new charges, anything like that. He cut his monitor off and he went on the run at 71. We caught up to him, 71 and heavy set, older man. Caught up to him. He jumped gates. He broke a leg. And he got away.
And he got away.
So
you were on his tail.
On
you
his
almost
tail.
had him.
With federal agents that were with us, because now
Heavy set 71-year-old with a broken leg.
jumped the gate,
Triple threat.
broken leg. Yeah, we caught him 2 days after though.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
but he ran.
He ran.
And all three of us is with ankle bracelets. So that shows you that the ankle bracelet and all these programs are really not.
And the monitoring didn't contact me that he had cut off his bracelet for a week.
That's a red flag.
Why is that?
On mine, on my $1 million bond, same thing. It was on a Friday and didn't notify
like Tuesday.
until Monday.
They wait. They want the
Budget
bread.
cuts.
They want that money. For it.
Imagine, oh my God.
So the bail bond business and the ankle monitoring business, do those coincide or are those separate things
No.
The
determined
ankle
by the
monitoring is provided by the state, I
By the
believe,
state
state.
and by the courts.
and by the courts.
So you guys have nothing to do with that?
No.
But you have access to the data, which evidently is not that
Not
great.
necessarily.
No.
They're supposed to contact us at the moment that the gentleman cuts. It could be a
Tampers
female.
with.
Right.
Tampers with it.
Tamper with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that-
really?
Yeah.
Alarm,
It's
like,
supposed
To
to.
let us know that it's been tampered, but they're supposed to send their own agents as well.
Oh, I see. They have their own crew that
But
goes
I
out.
don't think
But
they're
they don't.
officers.
Yeah,
I
no,
know
they don't-
of
they
course.
don't-
I
they
think
can't
they're just
arrest
They
like
ride
probation
around in
Yeah.
a
officers.
little car. That
They don't have
little-
powers of arrest or anything like
Oh,
that.
they don't?
No.
No.
So they're just like technicians, maybe.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So
Can't
they-
tighten the screw on your bracelet.
Or in that, what do they do? They to actually check you've been tampering with it or something?
I don't know. Electronically must have something that if you try to do something with it'll.
It's just a
sensor.
screwdriver that's in there, you know? That screw. Yeah.
They tighten it down. Yeah, I mean, I
Tighten-
guess.
Uh,
Listen, I guess ankle bracelets are like
Yeah.
locks
But if
on
you
doors.
tamper
They
with
try to
that,
keep
it's
honest people.
Bottom
honest.
line, if you want to escape, if that nothing's gonna hold you.
Seriously.
Nothing gonna hold you except cells.
Except a jail cell. I'm sorry. This is an actual fax machine ringing. And for those listeners who don't know what a fax machine is,
That's right. Those things are almost antique now.
Oh, it's outdated. I got the same one, by the way.
Smithsonian Institute, probably.
that's part of our museum technology exhibit.
So it's the bottom line here. With we are, I believe, are a necessary part of the judicial system. In technically, we're innocent until proven guilty. Whoever gets arrested, right?
Correct.
So we are an integral part of the system, whereby we are not funded by the state, the government, or the citizens. Don't pay us. Anything else.
We're private.
Yeah, anything else has
Right.
to be funded by the state, the government, the county.
Your tax dollars.
Right, the whole rest of the process.
to release these people for free, unmonitored. Yes, there's going to be in any business. There's going to be a percentage of people who are going to show up no matter what. But who wants to take that chance? And who's going to say, okay, he's going to show up, he's not going to show up. This guy might commit another crime. Who's going to?
I guess it's hard to judge a book
It-
by the cover, especially if it's the first time.
And we don't
We-
If
sleep
see,
with
it's
them.
multiple offenses, you kind of get an
are,
idea,
we
right?
are the ones who hold back the fort, and that's it because we're like you're saying, we're down the nitty gritty. We know the people, the mother, the father, the neighbors. It's our risk.
Sure.
I think after a certain amount of years, you also have that sixth sense that you
Oh,
kind
for
of
sure.
feel the family out, you kind of feel the defendant out, and you know what they're facing and if they're gonna face it.
No,
Right.
no judge.
If they're going to show up and
yeah,
deal.
no judge or pretrial services is going to know that at all.
Right. Allie, how did you get into the bail business?
Oh my. I've been in the business for so long. I had to hire a few bondsmen in my lifetime when I was a lot younger, since I was the only English-speaking member in the family. So I was
For somebody else in your family?
Yeah.
Have you ever been arrested?
Never, thank God. Well, technically, you're not supposed to have a criminal record to be a bail bondsman.
Being arrested and having a criminal record are two
It's
different
two different
things.
things, yeah. But no, I have never been arrested, thank God.
Okay. But
and
you had to be the
family
translator?
members or friend. Yeah, I was a
Okay.
translator. So back then I dealt with a bondsman, Scottolini, and he said, as soon as you turn 18, why don't you become a bondsman since you call me so much?
Oh,
And I was like, oh, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. So as soon as I turned 18, I got my bail bonds license, and I've been a bondsman ever since. Bondsman, and I've been a paralegal for immigration lawyers and stuff like that.
fascinating. And you like your work?
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah,
Nice.
it's the closest I can get to being an attorney without having to pay $100,000 to go to school.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then Star Rolls.
Rabbit, how did you get into this line of
Oh
work?
man, this is gonna be great. The Secret
Ever been
Service-
arrested?
Yeah, but that's minor.
Okay.
The Secret Service raided my house. That's why I became a bail bondsman.
The Secret Service raided your house,
so
and that motivated you to
Back
become a bail
in
bondsman.
1999, I was producing for a rap group called the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, we've heard of them.
I had a recording studio in my house,
Nice.
and a couple of individuals from Oakland, California, came to Florida to record their album. I let them stay at my house. One of the girls who came with them got arrested. Long story short, everybody was at my house. Rick Sanchez, Channel 7, everybody was there. The feds, the Aventura police, everybody. Because I guess she did some credit card fraud. I called California, and they sent $7,000 Western Union to me to bail a girl out of jail.
The
Her bond
Wu-Tang,
was
the Wu-Tang
70
folks did?
No,
Or her
it had
parents?
nothing to do with Wu-Tang.
Her parents?
No, some cholos.
Oh, really?
I have no
Part
idea.
of the credit card?
I have no idea
you don't know.
who did it, but I had to go get the money.
They
And I
sent it
gave-
to you.
Yes, because I knew a bail bondsman, and I gave it to Royal Bail Bonds,
Uh-huh.
and I gave him $7,000. And when I was walking out of there, I was like, I need to do this.
That was your...
You thought you made the whole $7,000 though.
Yeah, a lot of
That was
people.
your home.
That's happened to me when I started.
Listen, $7,000 on one deal, I felt like a car salesman.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to do this.
Or like a real estate.
I was in class the next week, and,
Yeah?
and I was like, I never regretted being a bail bondsman. Because
What was the class like?
my class? I didn't take the accelerated class. I went to Miami-Dade
Yeah.
College for like 6 months.
I did mine
Okay.
with
as well.
Sal Rivas, yeah, man, the great
Oh,
teacher.
Sal.
I did mine with a prosecutor. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, and I learned a lot.
They teach you a lot about the
bail
judicial
bondsman is
system?
really about helping people, man. I don't care about the judicial system.
Okay.
You help people, they do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then you go deal with that.
Yeah. It's a service to the
It's
community.
a service
it
to the
is.
community, what
For
we
sure,
do. We
Absolutely.
have nothing to do with
Yeah.
the courts, with none
Right.
of that.
We,
All we do
We're
is
a
help
private entity.
people.
we,
Yeah.
we get information that nobody else can get them because we're, like you're saying, we see the anguish, the tears, the blood, everything, and we make determination, human
wanna help.
determination,
Right.
not a machine or how many arrests, how many non-arrests, how many this, how many that.
You got to go with your guts.
Yeah,
And we
exactly.
want to help people.
Yeah.
That's all we do. We
Right.
help people.
Exactly.
That's it. Because they don't have that money in their closet.
How'd you get into this business, Emilio?
I was going to be originally in the 70s. I wanted to be a police officer, so I was going to join Metro. Took the civil service. I got like a high score. Then a family member of mine was part of the 1980 riots. He was a police officer.
McDuffie riots.
Yes, correct. And then my family. I mean, they would have shot me had I continued. So I wanted to
Oh,
study
they
law.
were they were afraid for you, you mean?
Yeah, because they saw what was happening. So I liked the law, the legal. So I started looking around, and some friends. I said, "Well, I'm going to study law." I did some pre-law, Miami-Dade and UM, and then eventually I met some people, and I said, "What the hell? A lawyer. I already have been out of school. I've been working. I don't want to go through all this hassle." And I like the thing about the police officers because I have police officers in my family. So I decided to become a bail bondsman. And
Kind of right in the middle
we're in
there,
the middle
right?
of, so you're in the thick of things because we are in a position to find out things that neither the police, the prosecution, or anybody else can know about the people that need a defense or need to under the Constitution be proven guilty before they have to do time. So I believe an integral part that cannot be replaced by any computer or any program or any bracelet. It just doesn't happen. It can't.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely an interesting part of the whole process.
Yes.
What's the highest, Ali, what's the highest amount of bail you've ever had to post, and what's the lowest amount?
$1 is the lowest.
$1.
Yeah, for
What
me
is
too.
even the point of that?
I agree. What is the point of that? But sometimes you want to
To make
service the
100.
client. No,
So
I
y'all
take
can make
out
$100.
$1 from my
I'm just kidding.
pocket
I'm
and
just
I drop
kidding.
it off in the jail. When my agents show up with a power that they used on $1, I want to strangle
Because
them.
we have to charge $100
Yeah.
minimum by law for each power that we execute. Each charge.
And
is
when
a
you say
power.
each power, what does that?
Each bond, each
It's a
bond.
check. It's just a
Each
check.
Okay.
Basically,
It's a check you guys
power is a
issue
check
to the
every
court?
month.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
At
For
denomination.
$1, I'm not
$1.
We
going to
make
do that.
$100.
Okay.
So we make
She knows
99.
I'm joking, but she
You
knows
better
I'm trying
be.
to throw her
There
under
was
the
some
bus. She ain't gonna
truth
make
right
$100
there.
off a
The
dollar.
highest has been 750. 750,000.
750,000. And the person showed up?
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Lucky.
Right. How about you, Rabbit?
I did 500,000.
$500,000.
Yeah, that's
What kind of crime?
it was federal.
Federal?
Yeah, I only did him, but I had 3. I had him, his brother, and his wife. They denied his wife and the brother. They gave him a bond.
They denied the other
All
two.
3
the
had
co-defendants.
500,000.
All 3 had $500,000.
Wire fraud.
Wire fraud.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a half
And
a
he got
million
paid by
dollar.
wire.
Each.
Did they wire you the money?
Bondsman
Yes.
joke.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, you know mine. My
Yeah.
$1 million bond.
Your $1 million Spain
bond,
guy.
and within a week the guy booked, and thank God, and that. But that we were able to bring it
caught
back
him
to
and brought him
justice.
back,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's no program with it because even.
But you did get the $100,000 on that million, right?
No, it was one. It was 150,000. Was
Oh, it's
because it
federal.
was a federal.
100. So you got the 150K,
Right.
and so you did all right on that deal.
How much did it cost you
Yeah. No.
to bring
Don't
her
say
back?
it. Don't
it
say
costs.
it.
There it
Don't
is.
say it. Don't say it.
It's always in the
No,
weeds.
It costs. It costs. No, I know because what we paid out. It costs close to $400,000 to get them back.
You end up losing more when they miss court
Oh,
than what you
yeah.
put in
Oh,
your
yeah.
pocket.
There you go.
Right.
Oh, I thought you were
There's a lot of
misconceptions.
misconceptions. Like
But statistically, I don't know if you keep stats, but how many of your out of 100 jump? 10% jump?
Oh, a little
I
bit
would say
less. I mean, it
10%.
depends. Nowadays, if somebody has a $750,000 bond, it's like saying no bond because there's no money flowing for these people to go and spend $75,000 on posting
or
bond.
the
I got you,
collateral.
right.
Or the collateral.
So nowadays those are like no bonds.
Yeah,
in Miami.
700.
It means like you're
Yeah.
staying.
They can't afford it.
Who
Yeah,
has
they won't
collateral
be able
these
to
days?
afford that.
Right.
People you go,
Most-
upside
most-
down on their mortgages.
Right.
I got to say, conservatively, 90% of every bond I write is not collateralized correctly. Correctly, I mean with money, property, jewelry, or houses.
Right, right.
These are gut feelings. So when they say that we're getting rich, that's bullshit. Okay,
Very much
We're
so.
taking 90. To me, I don't know what you got. At least 90%. I have just promissory note, indemnity
We're in the
agreement.
same boat, brother.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't
we're-
think
Same
anybody
boat.
in Dade
We're in the
County
same
is-
boat.
has collateral.
So it's promissory notes for the most
yeah,
part.
indemnity agreement, and
So you're getting out on a signature, essentially.
basically, yes, but we have something to lose. Pretrial doesn't. In other words, if the guy skips some pretrial, that's it, gone.
The
Next guy.
community loses, though.
The
Yeah, of
community
course.
loses.
Right, but not an individual business person such
Right.
as
Correct.
yourselves.
Right.
Who are out there trying to.
So we basically want everything to fall upon us,
Yeah.
so we can do a service to the community.
Yeah, because one of the things that I've heard often, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this, is like a lot of times some of these young people that are being arrested in the projects, they get offered these plea deals so they can go home straight away.
And a lot of times
And they
people
take
take
it.
them
Yeah.
because they
And
don't
be
want to go to court
innocent.
10,000 times.
Right.
And be
They don't
innocent.
want to keep getting set off.
Right.
So they just take a plea to end it and not have to go back to court. And then years later, when they become young adults, that they want to they want to have a career, they want to have something. They're like,
They
why did
can't.
I take that plea if I
They're
really
already
wasn't
on their
guilty?
life.
Right.
How many
Right.
people
Yeah,
are
that
that's-
happens. It seems to be happening a lot.
That's something that
How many people I know for a fact? People have been forced in federal court to make a plea, even though they were almost innocent, and they could have, with a good lawyer, have. But to say who has $100,000, 30
Right.
grand, 50 grand, and they say, well, what the hell? I'll do a year and then I'll be on probation forever, as opposed to doing 10 years or possibility of doing 15 years. So they don't take a chance.
You know what else bothers me? I want to bring this up because I know you and Allie, I know you both experienced this before. Nebbias.
Oh.
How come
What is that?
To justify
nebbia.
the
How come a
Guns.
defendant can go to a lawyer and pay him 50 grand cash, and it's not questioned. But when they come and have to get out of jail and pay a bond,
The lawyers are not gonna like him.
man, we get. I don't care.
So wait, they have to qualify the money that they give you, but not that they give to
when
a lawyer?
they get hit with a nebbia, correct.
A nebbia.
It's not the money
What
that
is
they
a
give
nebbia?
us. It's the money that they're using to bond out of jail.
What is a nebbia?
Okay, and maybe
What is
back
that?
In, I
is
think
that
it was
an
in the
acronym?
No, okay.
It's
back
an Italian.
In the 50s or 60s, there was, I don't know if it was a bank robber or something,
Yeah.
where nothing had to be justified. So this guy kept getting arrested, putting up the money, skipping. Getting
Right.
arrested, putting up the money, skipping. One day, he gets arrested again, and the lawyer tries to get him a bond, and then the judge says, wait a minute, And I don't know if the nebbia was the name of the defendant of the judge
Okay.
when this thing started. It was called a nebbia, Nebbia hearing. So now they want to make sure that if you're going to go out on bond, whoever's paying the premium and the collateral,
It's hard-earned,
it's
sweated
hard-earned
money.
sweat money, and that the collateral is not something that a gangster is putting up willing to lose
I see.
to get the guy to book,
Right.
like what these programs do, because the guy's
So like
booking and that's it,
when
they're done.
when the whole drug dealer concept came in and
Yeah.
the heavy hitters from Colombia were saying, all right, it's $1 million bail. Go ahead,
Yeah,
pay
right.
it.
Case.
Here's the $1 million.
Yeah, Miami
Yeah.
Vice and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
sure.
So
they
that
ask
doesn't
them-
actually happen?
No.
Now they
No,
have
not
some
anymore.
Oh, really?
To us,
I never
though,
witnessed
where you
it.
get
I
that
don't know
money
if the
from?
veteran did.
I have
Right.
seen it.
But I didn't witness
Yeah, I
that
did.
error.
Well, to
So
us,
let me
where
ask
get
you
that
guys
money
this:
from?
what's a good month for a bail bondsman, like to
nice-
take home, like about?
Like
You make
Oh, you
guys
mean
make it
it
like
varies.
profit wise, 10
This is-
G's,
this-
50
dude.
G's, 100
Oh,
G's.
that
This
was-
is
That was back in the day.
Look,
That
really?
doesn't
Back in the days.
exist
This is
anymore.
feast or famine.
This is feast or
I'll
famine.
go
It is.
3-4 weeks without doing one bond.
Yeah.
really.
Likewise.
Really?
And then I'll pop maybe a 50,000, a 60,000, or a series of 5 or 10,000s where we're.
And what's your
we're
margin
surviving.
on that? 20%, 30%?
We charge 10%, and then from the 10%, obviously we have a
20,
certain
30% is
premium
for
that
you
goes
guys?
correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is feast or
and
famine,
any
huh?
yeah, and
Yeah, it's
all
feast or
our
famine.
expenses, the agents,
know-
because I hardly ever go to write up. I have to pay an
You have
agent.
to pay
Sure.
somebody to go execute.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
light, the rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
All those
Depends.
expenses.
Agents.
Yeah.
It is so
Hours.
overly.
Well,
we're still
I
lugging.
think people see the movies and the TV
Yeah.
shows, and it's a different thing than the real life.
It
I
used
mean,
to be
the
like
public
that.
assumes, oh, I'm giving them $10,000. They're making money
Right.
because they gave that amount of money,
You-
but they don't know the
You said that
breakdown.
like a real Miami girl. I love
Ali,
that.
when
They're
you got
making
into
money.
business, we used to go to write a bond into the main Miami-Dade County jail. They would
ICDC.
Stay
actually
there for 2
let
days.
us in the jail. They
Right.
would bring down the defendant. Okay, we would
Now?
have the bonds. They would sign it, and we would walk up with the defendant. But these people not knowing, I just posted $100,000 bond, right? And what you said before, oh my God, you just made $100,000. So they don't know.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
They see you writing a
The
check for
jail-
100 grand,
Right.
and they think you made that 100 grand.
Right.
correction
And they start
officers,
hating
and they're
on you.
in the
Yeah,
system.
oh, the correction
They
officers,
have
my God,
no
they
They start
idea.
hating on you.
They
Like,
have
Oh,
no
wow.
idea how
They
bail
have
bonds
no
actually
idea.
works.
Even prosecutors don't know. And not only that,
Judges don't know.
Oh, how many times do you get calls every
Everyone's
week?
getting thrown under the bus.
I know what he's gonna say.
No,
Tell you
listen,
something.
listen.
Yeah, tell me.
I know what he's
Once a
gonna say.
month, at least, I'll have one
Go pick up
defendant
your money.
come in, and you say, "Hey, look, you bonded me out a $10,000 bond a year ago. The judge told me to come get my money back."
I'm not guilty.
No, whatever. No, the bond is, the case is over. Listen to this.
Right.
I opened the file, okay. I was thinking that he gave me the 10 grand for collateral, right?
Right.
And the 1,000 premium. So I look, wait a minute. You just signed papers to guarantee you didn't put up any collateral. No, but the judge said to get my money back.
And then they'll be like, I'm going to sue
Yeah,
you.
he don't know.
Because the judge said it and did.
yeah,
They don't.
Nobody follows Surety.
Yeah, but this
forever.
is.
I'm
They
gonna
can
sue
if they
you.
want to. They're going to waste
No,
their
no,
money.
no.
gonna
But
waste their money.
what it is, they deep down they know, but they're trying to say, well, maybe the judge, since he's like God,
Right.
maybe he
In
knows.
their world
and
in that
maybe,
moment,
and
yeah.
maybe this guy's trying to screw me. Maybe if I come in, I might luck out and win
Get
the
it.
lotto and get that money back.
Yeah, amazing. Well, listen, you guys are amazing, incredible information. You definitely are a benefit to our community, and we're happy that you guys are out there helping people. One of the things we like to do when we wrap the show up is we like to ask a music question. So, today's music question is going to be, what artist or music were you listening to the first time you went to post your first bond? Do you remember?
No way, I don't remember.
Come on.
It was 1998. So I'm gonna say back then, Snoop Doggy Dogg
Snoop
was like,
Dogg.
what?
All right.
Snoop was
There it is.
Snoop was the man at the
Who
county.
were you listening to the first time you went to post your first
Wu-Tang.
bond for somebody?
Wu-Tang.
Say it again.
Wu-Tang.
In the mic. Wu-Tang. Don't.
How about you, Amelia?
One of my favorites since I was a kid, 15 years old, and it was gonna be. It's not unusual to be
Oh, little
loved
Tom
by
Jones.
you.
All right, look out. Good stuff. Well, you guys have been fantastic. For the team here at Felony Miami, I'm Joe Stone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, it's early in the morning. Well, when I ride, Lord and Mama. Well, it's early